It doesn't take a genius.
Ramsey!
Oh, what a pleasure to see you. And you're wearing a sophisticated blazer.
Thank you, thank you. I was working with a luxury manufacturer earlier
Oh my.
today,
Oh my.
so I'm still wearing my sweatpants. However, I've now added a blazer button-down shirt for the illusion, I've learned a new word, for my telepresence.
Oh, that's lovely.
Is that a
Well,
lovely word?
I did take a broadcasting class in college, and so I'm sitting with my shoulders at opposite angles for interest.
Oh,
And for what it's worth, I am wearing a silk shirt that my wife has forbidden me from wearing outside of the house. But I thought, you know what? I can put it on here, share it with both of our fans who are listening.
I'm thinking she's jealous. Just pure jealousy.
I won't let her wear this blouse. I mean, shirt.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyway.
yeah. Everybody likes the puffy sleeves.
Well, I did want to say, congratulations to you on publishing a couple books now, with a third one, I believe, on the way. Am I correct?
Yes, yes. As my editor, yes, you would know the inside scoop that the third book is on their way. But yeah, you're correct. Two have been published, and it's been quite the adventure. So
Yeah.
just so people don't think I've solved the problem of the unified field theory or nuclear cold fusion, the reality is these are children's books. So yeah, don't put too much into it. However, the response has been earth-shattering. Not necessarily the response to the book. The response to the book was good. Kids love it. And it
Yes, they
becomes a
do.
favorite book, and they want to wear it out and read it over and over. The part I didn't have any clue about was the number of people who have approached me and they say the same thing. They go, "I've written a book."
Mm,
And you go, "Wow." Yeah, I always say, "Well, can I see it?" And they go, well, it's not published.
yeah.
It's written. And then we'll talk. Well, how long you been working on it? One person, 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
25 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they say things like, I keep going back and tweaking it and fixing it, and I'm not happy with certain parts. And then one person just showed me an envelope, right? The big manila envelope, and they opened it up and there were scraps of paper in it. And on the scraps of paper were all this writing. And I said, "What is this?" And he goes, "It's my book." And I said, "Well, some assembly required." And he goes, "No, no, no. It's all in there.
Yeah.
Everything I want in my book is in this thing." And then I've had three people up to date that have published their book because they saw that I did it, realized that they're smarter than me.
If this guy can do it.
Yeah, if he did it, right? How hard can this be? So they've put their art out into the world.
Yeah.
And so today's topic is just ship it. Write the
Oh,
book.
my favorite Devo song. That's great.
Yeah. And enunciation is key. Ship it.
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, launch the book, launch the podcast, write the book, right? Share your
Right.
art with the world. It doesn't matter what it is. You just got to set it free.
And I know you, and I know that you have a huge influence in your certainly your professional life in the form of Mr. Seth Godin. So I know that there are some things about shipping it that he has said. Do you want to share anything with us from the Godin world as you?
Oh yeah, definitely. The book Linchpin, How to Become Indispensable, is like the book for anybody who wants to be remarkable in this day and age. And the book was written quite a while back, but it's so applicable to what we do. And so in the book Linchpin, Seth Godin talks about the lizard brain, the amygdala, right? The reptilian brain, as some people call it. And so if I might read a few passages, all right?
Please.
So Seth Godin writes, or as Stephen Pressfield describes it, the resistance. The resistance is the voice in the back of our head telling us to back off, be careful, go slow, compromise. The resistance is writer's block and putting jitters and every project that ever shipped late because people couldn't stay on the same page long enough to get something out the door. The resistance grows in strength as we get closer to shipping, as we get closer to an insight, as we get closer to the truth of what we really want. That's because the lizard hates change and achievement and risk. The lizard is a physical part of your brain, the prehistoric lump near the brainstem that is responsible for fear and rage and reproductive drive. Why did the chicken cross the road? Because the lizard brain told her to. Want to know why so many companies can't keep up with Apple? It's because they compromise, they have meetings, they work to fit in, they fear the critics, and generally work to appease the lizard. Meetings are just one symptom of an organization run by the lizard brain. Late launches, middle of the road products, and the rationalization that goes with them are others. The amygdala isn't going away. Your lizard brain is here to stay, and your job is to figure out how to quiet it, ignore it. This is so important. I wanted to put it on the cover of my new book, and we realized though the lizard brain is freaked out by a picture of itself, and if you want to sell books to someone struggling with the resistance, it would be best to keep it a little more on the down low. So yeah, while it's central to the book, he knew to even make it front and center would cause people to back away, to even resist buying the book.
Yeah. And we're talking about, I mean, you know, lizard brain, if the evolutionary connotations there bother you, at self-preservation, self-centeredness, letting your some of your appetites take over instead of what you know you need to be about, and getting a chance to truly put something out there. Is that how tangible was that as you approached, you know, shipping your children's book? It's just a children's book, Mike. Did you have that rear its ugly head for you consciously?
Oh, it was terrifying.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, the moment you got to the day before, you know, all your brain, every fiber in your body is going, it's not ready. It's not time. This is probably a bad time. You know,
Yeah.
even though the first book was about the pandemic and we were in the middle of a pandemic, I still thought maybe this is the wrong time to release a book about a pandemic. Yeah, I mean, that kind of crazy questioning comes over you, and
Yeah.
there's like it's cold, and it feels like the blood is draining from you.
Huh.
And it's the same when you created a workshop and you're getting ready to present it for the first time, and you have no idea how it's going to land. Or it's
Yeah.
the same feeling. You know, I used to do keynote speeches, and audiences. I think the biggest audience was 6,000 people.
Mm.
And to walk out on stage in front of 6,000 people and to write and to do your own stuff and
Yeah.
have no idea if it's going to land, the coolness, the you know, you just the cold chills that go through your body, wondering, is this going to work?
Yeah. Yeah. And every stand-up comic that I've ever seen interviewed ever talking about their start has bombed. Right. I mean, there's been an early moment where it just, you know, the same material as the night before. And for some reason tonight, it's just a complete and total waste for the entire room. And the comic has to decide, do I keep going, or do I just pack up and back out forever? Here you are having that thought before you even get a chance to bomb. Right.
Yeah. You have it before, during, and after. And Seth does such a good job of talking about you know, ignore it and push through it. And when you ask people, you know, this person worked on their book for 25 years, and they keep saying the same thing. It's just not quite ready, and they continue to work on it. It's not like it's shelved. They go back and they try to perfect it. And I think that one of the things, my daughter does this. She looks at all her past, art and all her past writings, all the way back to, first grade. And she looks at it and goes, "Oh, that's terrible. I can't believe I showed that to anybody." Did people see this? Are you kidding? It was on the refrigerator for 3 years. This was your Mona Lisa when you were 7. This was
Right.
really good. But now you look at it and go, no. But the reality is, had she not done that one,
Right.
the next one wouldn't have gotten better.
Yeah.
So we have a rule in our house, and the rule in my house is, first time you do anything, doesn't go all that well.
Yeah.
And it's just our rule. And if you'll admit right up front, the first time I do it, it's not going to go that well, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Brene Brown calls it the FFT.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're a rated G program, we can't tell you what the first F stands for.
Yeah.
But it starts with F, ends with ing, first time. So effing first time.
Yeah.
And so the same admission that the first time you do it, it's not going to be that well. But man, if you push through that, the next one will be better, and the next one will be better, and you will ultimately perfect your craft. You will have shared your art with the world.
Yeah. And I would argue that sometimes it's the first time and sometimes it's the 10th time. But regardless, like, you have to decide if you're going to go out there and do it. The first time that I talked about, my love of the classical education and the ancient Greek concepts. The first time I did it, I was sort of like at the end of a presentation. I slipped in a couple slides. I just wanted to see if they resonated, if I had time. Well, they totally did. That was what they talked about after the meeting was over. That was the thing that they wanted to come up and talk to me about. And I was like, I'm onto something here. Maybe 2 years later, I did it for a community, a civic group, a whole presentation about it, a presentation I had given many times. It had worked. Crickets in the room, just absolute crickets in the room. Guess what? The next day I had to decide, I think I'm still going to do this. It doesn't matter that it doesn't resonate with this group. There's some tweaking I can do. There's some things I could do to make it more applicable, perhaps. But I'm onto something here, and I want to keep going with this. Failure is a wonderful tool for learning.
Oh yeah. What do they call it? Fail forward.
Yeah.
If I fail and I learn, I've failed forward. And that means the next failure will be a slight lesser fall and a lesser fall and a lesser fall. So no, you're absolutely right. And same with me. I've never, I love writing workshops and things like that. I've never written a workshop, no matter how long I worked on it, no matter how hard I perfected it and practiced it and timed it. And then the first time you do it live, you go, okay, that part needs to go over here, and I need to get rid of those 3 slides, and I can't talk about that anymore. And the second time, oh, it's so much better.
Yeah.
I always feel bad for the people who saw it first.
Right.
And they go, and I feel bad, but what I've discovered over time is they didn't know it could be better.
Uh-huh.
And they liked what they saw, even though I was disappointed.
Yeah, they still got something out of it.
Yeah, it was valuable to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, in my heart, I was thinking, man, if I could circle back after doing it about 10 times and do it for the first group again, they would be really amazed.
Right.
They really think that was cool.
Well, we've been talking about this in reference to things that we're creating, art, our content that we're putting out there. I think it really does apply to a lot of other things. It's the sales presentation. It's getting in front of that customer that you didn't necessarily want to get in front of. And a lot of this has to do with sort of letting your rational brain take control of those emotions. And there are some good emotions there, right? I mean, some of that fear is like good fear. It's like that jitter that helps give you the jump start to get over the hump. And Plato talks about that you let your rational brain take control of your heart, let alone your gut, and let that sort of be the juice that powers through and lets you accomplish what you need to accomplish. So, Ship It, whatever the shipping is for you, take that first step and do it, and know that it's not going to be so great, and that's okay.
Yeah, I ran into that just this morning. I was working with the luxury brand, and we were talking about questions you could ask during the sales process.
Hmm.
And one of the questions the manager had been coaching his sales people to ask is what other competitive vehicles have you been looking at?
Mm-hmm.
And he says people are terrified to ask that question.
Hmm.
And they're afraid of the answer. Well, because there are other great competitors out there,
Sure.
and they're going to bring them up. But the reality is surfacing that early is so much more beneficial than having it become a hidden objection that never gets surfaced again.
Exactly.
So pushing through the fear and ask, I can talk all day long about my cool thing, but asking that question, so what other competitive products are you looking at? Wow. You've leaned in, right? You've not only faced the fear, you leaned into the fear and pushed past it. And now you can have a conversation about how you stack up and what's different and things like that. So all the way down to, whether you're writing your book or it's just asking one question during the sales process that's just scary for you.
Love that.
Right? Push through it.
This might be a great way to wrap up, but you had mentioned that you had a coaching client who screamed.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm on the phone and I'm talking to a coaching client, and then they're also in sales, and they were talking about all these great ideas that hadn't been executed. And I uttered the phrase, well, you shouldn't let perfection prevent execution. Like I thought, somebody had stabbed him. So, what? And they go, that's it. In one sentence, you have summed up all my problems. I let perfection keep me from executing because it's not perfect. It could just be that little bit better. I don't do it when the reality is it's good enough. It will work, and I need to ship it. Right. And this was in regards to social media, text messaging, other forms of guerrilla marketing, all in the works, none of it executed because we were waiting for it to be perfect.
Yeah. Love that. It never will be perfect. Let's just put it out there and get moving.
Yep. It's time, as we say, to ship it. And look no further for an example than these podcasts.
Isn't that the truth?
So I would challenge you, go back and listen to the first one,
Yep.
the 10th one, the 20th one, and this one.
Yeah.
And note the evolution. It's still not perfect by any means, but man, we get better, it seems like, every single time. And we've talked about taking the first ones down because they're so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, for what we do, they're the perfect example of, the first time, just not going to go all that well.
Yep.
But if you keep at it, it will get better.
Yep. Great final word. Love it.
Thanks. Let's see what our announcer's up to. Love that guy.
And that's it. Join us next time when you'll hear Mike say, well, I'm sure he'll say something pithy. Don't miss it. Next time, it doesn't take a genius.
That's good enough.